Hi everybody, Al from EGW here, and today I'll be showing you how to install one of our red dot adapter plates on a Glock slide. We do recommend having a qualified and competent gunsmith do the job for you. Just so many people were asking how it's done, so I wanted to show you. Here's a quick message from our lawyers. Warning, expressing your Second Amendment right may anger or offend others. Modification to your firearm may nullify the manufacturer's warranty. This product should be installed by a qualified and competent gunsmith. No liability is expressed or implied for damage or injury which may result from the installation or use of this product. Install our red dot mount at your own risk. Putting a red dot on your gun is not for everyone. Having an optic on your gun may result in the following side effects: better accuracy, faster target acquisition, and more fun at the range. You may find yourself spending copious amounts of time at the range, which may be detrimental to your bank account. Use of this product may result in excessive smiling. Please call your doctor if you have a smile lasting longer than 24 hours. Look, owning a rear sight pusher tool doesn't instantly make you a qualified and competent gunsmith. Chances are you're still gonna f it up. So, for the few of you left here, willing to risk damage to your slide, your firearm, your adapter plate, and total destruction, let's do it live.
We'll do it live! We'll do it live!
We'll do it live!
I'm gonna start by taking my Glock slide. The rear sight is meant to be pushed out from the right to the left with the muzzle facing away from you. Now I'm using a rear sight pusher tool that I bought here on Amazon. It's about $30. It's not perfect, but it works very well for what you need to do. Pop it in there. You may have to put shims here and there. If you have liability cards laying around at home, you have to fold them up, put them in places. Do what you need to do. You want to make sure that the underside is secure, because when you start pushing the rear sight out and when you start pushing the adapter plate in, the slide's going to torque a little bit, so the bottom needs to be supported. So now that I have my slide in here, it's snugged up, we can run the adapter here and make adjustments. You want the center of the rear sight to be in the center of the pusher tool, and you want to have as much of that sight pusher tool against the mount and the sight, just so you can have the surface area to push it out. So now that you have it snugged up by hand, put my little wrench on here. Don't put something on this side, please. Don't put something over here, because you're just gonna tighten everything up and you're gonna crush this. I saw reviews where people on Amazon bought this and they did that and it did not work out well. It also helps if you go the right direction with your wrench. So now, we're just going to work it out here. And as you can see, my rear sight is pushing out. We'll probably go back over part of this, and I can push it back in and we can try it again. You want to make sure there's lots of clearance so you're not pushing your rear sight into the side of the installation tool. Boom, it was that simple to get the rear sight out. Okay, so now that we have the rear sight out, it gets to the fun part, because we get to start installing the adapter plate, and I know that you've been waiting to get it in the mail for so long and you're all jittery and you want to get it on there, so let's get to that. So you take your old rear sight, who cares about that anymore? Take your adapter plate, and normally these will start by hand or with a little coaxing from a little gunsmith hammer. For the Glock slides, you want to install the adapter plate the opposite direction of how the rear sight came out. So we're going to get it started going from the left to the right. And as you can see here, it started by hand and then it just stopped. If you need to go a little extra, take the plastic side of your hammer and tap it in to get it started.
All you gotta do is tap it in. All you gotta do is just tap it in. Just tap it in now.
Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
Now you know that it's started and it's good to go. So we're going to slide our sight pusher tool back to where we started from. This rear sight pusher tool is nice because it allows enough room to use our adapter plate. You can spend $120 on some of the fancy ones out there and they're not wide enough to use a rear sight adapter plate in there. It's not going to be wide enough. This one is cheap, it's affordable, it does its job, and it will fit our plate. So once again, you want to make sure that the pushing part of this tool is lined up on the side here, and you want to be centered in the dovetail with it. And snug your slide up. You don't have to get it tight yet because you want to make sure everything's lined up. And you want this plate to be as high without hitting anything and as centered. That way you have as much surface area as possible. Just don't put it too high that you're going to drive and dig into the slide instead of passing through the dovetail. So once again, we'll take our handy dandy wrench and we'll not do it on that end. This tool has a little hole back here so you can see if everything's lined up. And we're just pressing in nice and easy. You don't have to use a socket like this. You can use a normal wrench. I would not use an impact on here because it would go too fast and you'll ruin everything at that point. This takes a little bit of force for me to go in. You will have that. It's pressing it in and it's a press fit, especially for these Glocks, so they go in a little bit tight. So now that I'm almost completely installed, I slow it down, make sure that everything's lined up here, that I'm not going to run the sight pusher tool into my slide, and I want to make sure that I get this mount as centered as possible. If it's not perfect, that's okay. The red dots have elevation and windage adjustments on it, so you can fine tune it that way. So I'm going to push it on here a little bit more. And if you look at the dovetail portion, you can see how much is hanging out or how much it's not hanging out to get it nice and lined up. That looks pretty centered to me. So now that that's done, you can loosen this up a little bit. Then you loosen this up. And boom, shing, bang, you're done. So it's pretty simple if you have the right tools and know the right process. It takes about maybe 5 minutes. Go slow if you feel like something's wrong. If you're doing this at home and didn't listen to the warning about having a qualified and competent gunsmith, take your time. Stop if you think that something's wrong. Not everything is perfect. We have different manufacturing tolerances compared to the manufacturer of the slide. So if something doesn't seem right, stop, get on the phone with us, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. So it's that simple. Then you just take your red dot, slap it on there, tighten it up. So a couple of quick tips here. If you're having trouble getting the red dot adapter plate started, you can put it in your freezer. Don't put the red dot in your freezer along with it. You'll ruin it. But put the red dot adapter plate in the freezer for a couple hours, then take it out, see if you can get it started that way. You can also try using some blue Loctite or some oil in the dovetail cut itself as a lubrication, and then it might help you install the adapter plate too. So I wanted to thank everybody for hanging out with me this time and checking out how we do this install. Please don't forget to like and subscribe us. Check out our YouTube channel and our website, egwguns.com. Stay blessed. Oh!